What's good, y'all? Welcome back to the lab with another quest build. I have a blueprint here for y'all that can absolutely be the key cog in any offense. It could be the #1 option that can go and get you 20 to 30 a night at the rec. This thing is going to be an absolute mismatch nightmare for your opponents. It's going to be too big for smaller wing type and guard players. It's going to be too fast and too skilled if you do get matched up against a traditional interior type big. This thing has shades of all different kinds of players from a bunch of different trees, a la Michael Beasley, Antoine Jameson, Jermaine O'Neal, Glen Robinson, Antonio McDice, Jamal Mashburn, Giannis, Dirk Nowitzki, and Al Harrington. This is the 6'10" inside the arc shot creator. There are a bunch of different variations of this build, but I'm going to go ahead and throw you guys a blueprint to a very well-rounded offensive inclined version. Jumping right in, we're going to make this at power forward. We're going to be 6'10", 214 pounds with a 7'4" wingspan. And you know we're going body shape build because we want to look menacing on the wood. So follow along to a T to get this name, and then tinker your own variant at your own discretion in your builder, because at the end of the day, it's your build. You can do literally whatever you want, but I'm going to go over some of the name threshes, and then you can choose your own variation to your play style later on. But we're going to get our close shot to a 76, get our driving layup to a 70, get our driving dunk to a 79, get our standing dunk to a 90, and our post control to an 82. That's going to give us 22 finishing badges. To get that inside the arc name, we're going to want some interior attributes. So we're getting that standing dunk to a 90 to get those elite big man contact dunks. The next badge thresh is at a 93. We're also getting silver limitless takeoff, getting that driving dunk to a 79. The badge thresh is at a 76. I've had some variants on this build with the driving layup of a 61, next badge thrust is at a 68, but we're going 70 to unlock a few more animations, and then we're going to have that post control to an 82 to give us that Hall of Fame postman technician, because when you do get the pill, you're going to be able to isolate, and this is a great ISO post score that's going to be absolutely lethal in the mid-range, and 22 finishing badges is going to be absolutely dominant in the right hands. Going to shooting, we're going to max out our mid-range to an 87 and then get our 3-ball to a 78. And then we have a little bit of extra atch. We're going to throw on free throw to a 69. Nice. But that's going to give us 23 shooting badges. I've also played around with the 7'1" wingspan to get that 90 mid-range. I don't see very much of a difference at all when playing and testing out this build, but having that 90 mid-range attribute mentally could be absolutely gruesome. But I went with the 87 midi because it feels just super smooth in the mid-range, isolating off the dribble. A lot of people are going to disrespect you on this build because they think you're inside the arc. So if you are on the perimeter when you get the pill and you start to attack the basket, your opponent's going to play off you by default off rip on God square left side curtains because he doesn't think you can shoot. He knows you're a shot creator, but inside the arc, people don't think you have a 3-ball, which you can let that fly with a 78. But when you're attacking, you're going to have a lot of room to be able to pull up and have some nice off the dribble jump shots, and 87 midi is going to be absolutely lethal. Playmaking wise, we're going to get our pass accuracy to a 79, and then we're going to max out our ball handle and speed with ball. Those are name threshes. You need an 81 and a 71 handle to get this shot creator name at 6'10". I believe if you go higher on the pass accuracy, it could change the name to a playmaker, which is also hot. But that's going to give us 18 playmaking badges. It's going to be very nice at 6'10" to be able to move and handle the pill on this build, and that you're going to be able to make plays for your teammates. It definitely feels a little bit demigodish, so it's going to absolutely cook. And then defensively, here's where you can maybe make some changes on your variant when you tinker. But we're going to get our interior defense and our perimeter defense to a 74. Those are badge threshes. Then we're going to get our block to a 78. Then we're going to get our defensive rebound to an 87. And then our offensive rebound to a 57. That's going to give us 20 defensive badges This is a nice well-rounded version. It's serviceable defensively. I've also made a variant with like 26 defensive badges. If you max out offensive rebounds, stealies, you definitely can be gruesome on this build defensively, but we do want those big man contact dunks, that high mid-range, and then the playmaking ability. So defensively, it would be better to pair this kind of variation with a true defensive-minded big man. So this thing can absolutely eat on the offensive end, and then you can be a nice serviceable option defensively. And then physicals, we're going to get our speed to a 71. We're going to max out our acceleration to a 76. Strength, we're going to keep that at a 49. If you go higher on the interior D, that's when it changes. But we're going to get our strength to a 49. We're going to get our vertical to a 75 for those contact dunks. And then put the rest on stamina to a 91. If you've watched my other videos, I don't think stamina necessarily matters that much on most builds, but if you are going to be more of an ISO type player, you don't want to burn through that energy in your stamina. So we're going to really invest in that on this build so you can be that #1 creator type option and not get tired with the ball in your hands. But giving this build a once over, 22 finishing, 23 shooting, 18 playmaking, and 20 defensive badges. Some of the main components of this build to get this name is going to be that 81 ball handle, 71 speed with ball. You're going to want your midi in the 80s, and then let's keep that standing dunk and post control in the 80s to 90s. And if you want a two-way inside the arc creator, then you're going to have to up your interior D to like an 85 plus. But we want this inside the arc shot creator. You're not necessarily trying to be a two-way in the name type of build, but you can definitely invest more in your rebounding, more in your stealies and your blocks if you want to allocate more to making this a defensive minded inside the arc shot creator. But to get that two-way name, which will change the name, don't go too high on the interior D. If you go higher on the 3-ball to an 80 higher, it will be a 3-level shot creator, which is very rare and hot at 6'10 as well. But the inside the arc shot creator is even more rare, and I have not seen anything like this monstrosity at the city since the game has released. So going on to takeover, you get shot creator, shooting, playmaking, and post take. I really like advanced post moves just to absolutely dominate when you get the ball. And I like pull-up precision because I really want to utilize the capabilities on this build in ISO situations. Give this monster the ball on the wing. It doesn't matter who is opposite him. You're going to end up with the name inside the arc shot creator. I'm telling y'all, at 6'10, this thing is an absolute monster. Playing with it in the test builder has made me want to dive deep in the couch cushions to find a little extra pocket change so I can invest in this build and start playing with it off rip. You don't see a lot of 6'10 ISO creators, and I think that catfishy inside the arc type name with a 3-ball, with the capabilities on this build, it's going to be, like I said, a matchup nightmare. You put a smaller peanut on this, go to work on the block and absolutely eat. You put a big man on this, take it out to the perimeter, ISO. You know, you can play with your food on this build because it has handle, it has a jumper, it can attack the rack. The only way to even try to contain this is to put an absolute hybrid defender type defensive mind on this build. And even then, if you're nice behind the sticks, you have a counter to everything your opponent will throw at you. So this build can absolutely be hot. Do you guys agree? What do you guys think of this blueprint? Let me know in the comments because you know what time it is. Quest Sparrow.